You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of LadyJ Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned. Y'all ready? Let's go. Nobody that was watching, I hope y'all ain't stressing out, because when we all get off the camera, we done forgot it.
Shit, I'm going to go eat.
I'm about to go have dinner.
I heard somebody call me one night after the show. They was like, LadyJ, are you okay? And I'm trying to think, what happened? And they were talking about the show because people were going on the show. I had totally forgotten about it. I'm laying across the bed watching the movie. This is what this show is about. We just come on here, we have fun, we chop it up, we have fun. We can argue and fuss about what's going on in Memphis, New York, California, all these other places, but we got children, blood on the street. We had 2 babies shot over the weekend. Their mother just passed away. Where is the protest?
We're not gonna have a protest about that because we don't see. Here's the thing.
How do you close the door? How do you close the door?
You real quick. Baltimore is a city that has been broken down, but generation after generation after generation. We have allowed folks that look like us, that's supposed to be about our business, to treat us worse than other folks that don't look like us. We have gotten to the point where we are desensitized. We do not value you, me, the next door neighbor, or anybody else. That is why, follow me on this one. That is why we will have a protest for somebody else that got killed by an officer or by Mickey Mouse across the country before we have a protest about somebody right here, because the nigga right here don't matter.
Everybody, welcome to Baltimore. This is, hold on one second, guys. I don't know. I got to figure out what's going on with my sound. 1 second, everybody. Okay, so welcome to What Up Baltimore. My name is Dr. LadyJ, and tonight we're going to be talking to some returning citizens. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about the show, if it is your first time, because I don't want to embarrass you while the show is going on. So this show is the people show. It's for the people, and it's called What Up Baltimore. I've been doing it now for about 4 years, and I created this show to give us an opportunity to be able to come on, express how you feel, but be respectful. You can express how you feel. You can state your opinion. Now, if you get too out of hand, I will, delete you and block you so you can't come back on. So tonight, I want to thank these guys who are on tonight. We have 2 ladies, and I'll tell you who they are in just a few minutes. But I want to thank them for coming on, because a lot of you don't know that I work with a lot of ex-offenders, and I go to court with them. Me being a chaplain, I also counsel them and, go visit them. And so that's another part of what I do. And so I've been doing this now since I was about 25. So y'all do the math. It's been a long time, because I'm about to turn 60. So that's been a long time that I've been doing this. So I'm very protective of when they come on or when they do participate in what I'm doing. So we have to be respectful, and we have to be mindful of the questions we ask. Having said all that, we will not be talking about what they've been charged for. Not talking about any of that stuff tonight. Tonight we're talking about being incarcerated and then coming back as a returning citizen, because a lot of time has passed. The world has changed. And so those are the things we're talking about. And we're also going to talk about going to Annapolis, Maryland. For those of you, I know we have people that watch us all over, but I'm in Baltimore. And we go to Annapolis. We've been going to Annapolis, I should say, every week to try to change some of the laws when it comes to those who are incarcerated, those who are coming out, juvenile justice, mass incarceration, all those things. And so that's what's been going on in Annapolis. And I met these guys, all except for one of them, while we were in Annapolis. And so I've invited them to come on and shout out to the platform and shout out to Tay Gross. This is Joy. So Tay has his own fan club already. So, that's a message for you. But so yeah, so we have been going down there, and I've really been impressed with the way these guys have spoken. I'm also impressed with the fact that they have spent a lot of time behind bars. And instead of coming home and just closing the door and saying forget it to everybody and enjoying their life, they're actually down there fighting every week for those that they've left behind, which I think is commendable. So this is just something that I love to do when it comes to working in the prison system. So we're going to get started, and I want to introduce everybody. We have, y'all probably need to put my glasses on because I can't even see. I can't even see. So in the top, we have Desmond. I believe that's Desmond Perry up the top. And Desmond, I met through Gordon. And welcome, Desmond, to the show. I feel like I've met him before. So we're going to get to know about Desmond and what he's doing, because he's doing something very powerful. We have Miss Marsha up there. There she is. And so she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's doing. And I'm glad that she's on as well, because she can actually talk about working with these gentlemen that are on the screen. We also have Mr. Hamza on here. We have Mr. David on here. We have Mr. Sean on here. We also have Mr. Gordon, and we also have Mr. Tay. I call Tay nephew because Miss Joyce, his aunt, had so many different names for him. I just call him nephew. So we have nephew on here. And then we also have Sean's auntie on here. So we're going to hear from everybody. If you want to call in, let me put up the call-in number. And again, remember, you can call in with your questions. Again, just a reminder that we will not be talking about what they have been charged with, because it's really none of your business. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that tonight. So we're going to get started, and I want to start with, the one thing I want to say is a couple of these guys have just come back home. They've just returned home. So we want to say welcome home also. So listen, we want to start, I think I want to start with Donald in the middle, because I met Donald probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago in Annapolis. And Donald, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us what you have been, some of the things that you've been fighting for in Annapolis, some of the laws you've been fighting for.
So I served over 35 years on a life sentence. I was sentenced to life and 20 years when I was 17 years old, and I spent the bulk of my sentence at Patuxent Institution. While I was in there, I saw a lot of things that were very inhumane, that were barbaric, and things that shouldn't happen to another human being. And they were being done by the very people who had the authority and the power over us. And when I got out and I had the opportunity to go to Annapolis and have a voice for those that don't have a voice right now, that are helpless because they're locked in a prison cell for 23 hours a day, and they're subject to whatever the correctional officers do to them, then I had to let my voice be heard so people will know what's going on inside of those prisons, and that something can be done to hopefully change and rectify what has been done and to stop it from happening again.
Wow. And can you tell us again, I know you told us last week how old you were when you went in and how old you were when you came out.
So I was 17 when I was incarcerated, and I was 52 when I was released. I just turned 53. I had my first birthday in freedom.
When was your birthday?
It was Thanksgiving Day.
Oh wow, wow, that's nice. So you got to spend your birthday at home on Thanksgiving. That is so special. Wow, awesome. So you were 53, and we're going to come back because I want to also talk to you, all of you, about how the world has changed from the time you went in versus now. Because I know there were a lot of adjustments that you had to make. So next, I want to go to Hamza. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been fighting for in Annapolis? I think you might be muted.
Good evening,
Yeah.
everyone. My name is Hamza. I spent 30 years, 110 days incarcerated as a juvenile at the age of 16. Uh, I am the first juvenile lifer to be released in PG County and also the first to be paroled after the governor was taken out of the process. I've been home since June of 2022. Since my release, I've fought tirelessly to help gain release of other individuals who have served extremes amount of time. I work for two great organizations, one of them being Life After Release that is based in PG County, and I'm the first male core member of a female organization that is ran out of uh, their prison advocacy organization. And I also work for a reentry organization here in Baltimore City called No Struggle, No Success. And these two organizations combine deal with two critical things that our society is facing. One of them being advocates, which is Life After Release, is an advocate for those who are incarcerated or facing time. The next one is reentry for those returning citizens who are being reacclimated in society. So my fight has been first, like you say, advocating for those who are incarcerated and helping those get reacclimated, and also I've been in Annapolis fighting for geriatric compassionate release and changing the standard of the parole process. So this is some of the things that I'm involved with.
Wow. Um, Marsha, can you make a note because I want to come back and I want to talk about. He mentioned something about the juveniles being given life, so I want to come back and talk to you about that and get some more understanding and clarification on that for people who may be listening as about that. Now, don't I didn't want you to talk about it, Hamza, because I don't want to get into why you were there. Let's go to Gordon. I met Gordon a few weeks ago too. So, Gordon, tell us a little bit about you and why you're down in Annapolis.
You're muted.
Uh, yeah, I think you're muted. We can't hear you. Let me see. Because I don't know if I can help him. Gordon, I think your mic is muted. We can't hear you. We're gonna come back to him. I'm gonna let him work on that, and let's go to Sean. Tell us a little bit about you, Sean, and why you're down in Annapolis fighting.
My name is Sean Andrews. I just came home for doing 30 years. I've been home for a month now since Friday. I was down in Annapolis speaking about medical, about them treating elderly people and misdiagnosing them with wrong medication. So that's what I'm speaking on.
Okay. And congratulations on being home. You said it's been a month, so congratulations on being home.
Thank you.
Yeah, me and Sean and David, we had some laughs last week. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. um, and then we have nephew on here. Tell us a little bit about you, and you haven't been going to Annapolis with us, but tell us about some of the great things that you have been doing because I'm really proud of you.
First off, let me shout my man Jay out. He do the same thing you do, Lady J. He got a podcast, Life at the Prison System. He's from Jersey. I was on there, and I sent him the link so he can tune into your show tonight. And I just been telling my story, you know, trying to take it one day at a time. I take my CDL test Wednesday.
Oh, good.
So
Congratulations.
I'm finished school. I take my CDL test Wednesday. I'm just prayerful and just, you know, trying to keep stride on the right track. And just a side note, my brother Donald was on here. I'm so happy he's home. We did over 15 years together. This man kept me out of trouble. He always encouraged me. I still got a letter in my Bible that he wrote to me from my first parole hearing when they gave me a hit. He was right there for me, and he has always been there for me. And I truly want to thank him for that.
Wow, that's awesome. That is really awesome. I figured some of you guys have probably crossed paths during your time. And Tay actually came and spoke at one of my programs. So I'm proud of you. Nephew, keep doing what you're doing. Then we have, let's see if we can get Gordon. Gordon, let's see if your microphone is working now.
Still okay?
No, we still can't hear you. Willie, Hamza, is he on his phone? Is he doing this on his phone? I can't hear you either.
No, he's on his laptop.
He's on his laptop. So,
he said he did the mic test and it's working. The mic, I don't know, maybe whatever.
So let me do this, Gordon. Gordon, call me. Don't do anything to your computer. Just call me on my phone, and let's see if it works this way. Because you can talk on your phone to me, and we can still see you and hear you at the same time. So just call me on the number I gave you, and let's see if that works. And then we're gonna come back to him. We have Marsha. I feel like this is the Brady Bunch, y'all.
Yeah,
Marsha.
Brady Bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my goodness. We got Marsha here. So Marsha represents. So Marsha, tell us a little bit about you and what you do. And what you do relates to the men on the screen.
Okay. I'm Marsha Briley. I currently work in Anne Arundel County. I'm overseeing the reentry initiative for the county. I came in July of 2021 to the police department because that's where Anne Arundel County originally seeded their reentry efforts. And then just in October of last year, the county exec moved the initiative under detention facilities. But it is a county-wide initiative. That this is just where the agency that owns it. Prior to that, I was the director of reentry and transition services for DPSCS. I held that position for a little over 5 years. Prior to that, I was an administrator overseeing parole and probation, overseeing the sex offender management strategy. And then prior to that, I was a PO in Baltimore City. I had 2 units. I started out with the child abuse unit, and then I spent most of my time with the sex offender unit with the individuals that were
what about now? Can you hear me?
University of Maryland clinic for special offenders. Prior to that, I was a correctional case manager down at MCIW. That's where I started my career. And that's where I first started. That was the first reentry, what they call this transition coordinator. That's what the former Secretary Marianne Saw, and Governor Ehrlich, they had started putting converting pens. They were converting pens. That's what they did from case managers and making them transition coordinators. And
we couldn't hear you for a minute.
Sound went out, Ms. Marsha.
Your sound went out. Marsha, your sound went out.
I hit the mute button. Where did I leave off?
There you go. The last part we heard was about the coordinator.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was the first transition coordinator MCIW. So that's my career backwards. How I know some of the folks on this call, through let me get it right. The partnership with the Office of the Public Defender. They met me on a call. I was on a work group call, and the community engagement coordinator, she connected with me and wanted to know more about what we were doing in Anne Arundel County around reentry. And they were starting the initiative with working with the JRA, the Juvenile Restoration Act, the individuals that I think just everybody on this call pretty much benefited from that legislation and that law. And part of the release planning for these individuals, part of the criteria for them taking their cases back before the sentencing court to get it reduced was a reentry plan. So for individuals that wanted to return to Anne Arundel County, I was just instrumental in working out those reentry plans, and then working with them and working with Dr. Linda Moy with the reentry clinic with American University. So that's how this wonderful partnership started, and I got to work and meet several of the folks on this call.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And this is the one thing I'm going to say to you, Marsha. I got to give you a shout out right now, because when I first met Donald, I thought Donald was an attorney, right? Because Donald walked up in that place like, he really, really had something to say, had a suit on and everything. And he went and sat on the front row. So I was like, oh, he must be one of the attorneys. Then I talked to him afterwards. Last week, I met Sean. And I said, wait a minute, where these guys are coming up in here, Gordon? I said, they are coming up in here with suits and ties on. And I mean, they are coming in there killing it. And so I just wanted to say to you all who are helping them that you are doing such a wonderful job, because when you put that suit and that tie on, it makes such a difference. People look at you differently, they speak to you differently. So I just wanted to say thank you to you and everyone else who has a hand in working with these gentlemen when they come out, because it definitely makes a difference. I'm a suit and tie person, so we were sitting up there having a conversation. I was checking out the suits. I said, they got y'all really clean down to the shoes.
Yes, our partners, our community, it takes a village. It takes a village.
Wow.
That's a beautiful thing. Everybody, they come out, they have everybody, on this call, they connect, it takes a village, and they help, as much as we help and everything, they have, connected, and they help each other, Yeah, Donald, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's my go-to down here, down in Anne Arundel County. He's my go-to. Yep, he's that mentor, because he was like one of the first ones. So when they come out behind and come to Anne Arundel County, Donald be like, I got him.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know what? Everyone, I think what shocked some of the people also is that how well everybody speaks and the clarity in which they speak. They know what they're talking about. Nobody is fumbling or mumbling. It's no ebonics. Like, these men are speaking, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm amazed, and I'm sitting there, and I'm so happy and so proud of all of you for how you stand out when you come down there. You may not think that you stand out, but you do. They see you. And people are watching, so just keep it up. And thank you to everyone who has a hand in helping these gentlemen when they come out, because like she said, it takes a village. That's what it's all about. So we have a caller. He is actually calling from prison. This is Mr. Daria Green, and he has been incarcerated for years now for a crime that he did not commit. And so we have been fighting. We're still fighting for him to get out here in Baltimore. And so I asked his wife if she could get him to call in. He's on the phone, so we're going to take a moment, listen to him. Hey, Daria. How you doing? I'm good. Can everybody hear him? Go right ahead.
Okay. My name's Daria Green. Most of the brothers on here know me as wives. Some are like a doula, the brother doula. I say, well, my wife showed me on the Nablus. It's handsome. I know him. We was at Rock. We was at MCIJ together. Stuff like that. But we had talked and stuff. But my main thing is still trying to fight to get out. You know what I mean? Raw convicted, innocent, almost 20 years fighting it. Just like my main, like a couple of my brothers, like Sabine, Most, JR, and the type of brothers. We had walked the yard, just talking about it, still trying to keep it hope alive to get out. And some did, and I'm still doing the same thing. Some have made it, and I'm just trying to do the same. Make it just well. I got great for this opportunity.
Well, you know that we are still out here fighting for you. And I'm looking for the day when I'll be able to have you on the screen and actually sit with you in person, you know, and talk to you about just like we're talking to the guys right now. And so, you know, just continue to hold on, because I feel like your day is coming, you know. And sometimes it's just a fight, you know, it's a long, long fight. But your wife stays on the battlefield every single day. I don't know if she goes to sleep, but she's on the battlefield all the time for you, trying to get you out. So any of you guys want to say anything to Daria? You have to unmute so he can hear you.
Well, first and foremost, man, so they can hold on, right? Also, if possible, you get your wife to reach out to me so I can find out what process are you at in trying to gain your freedom. And you know, post you're doing actual innocence. If she can reach out to me to let me know, maybe it's something I can help you out with.
Who was that with this speaker?
That's Hamza.
Oh, okay. Big fan.
Yeah.
Wise from down MCIJ.
Yeah, I know.
My paperwork up for you all the time.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just get your wife to reach out to me. We can try to find out where you at, how we can help you. Something, you know.
Okay, and you know, one more thing. Umar right here too.
Extend my salam to Umar. Yeah, extend my salam.
Yeah, he right here too.
Inshallah, yeah. And I talked to him yesterday.
And anybody else want to say anything to Daria? I don't know how much time he has.
Yeah, he said hold on for a minute.
He don't have a lot of time on the phone now.
Oh, he doesn't have
but
a lot?
I will reach out. No, he don't have that much time. I will reach out to the next time that you all go down to Annapolis. I will be coming with Doc so I can meet everybody and introduce myself. Hoping to see you all soon.
Yeah, when you get a chance, reach out to me.
I'll make sure that she gets your information.
Okay. Now I was telling you, just reach out to me when you get a chance, so we can try to see where your husband's at.
Okay.
What he's doing. All right.
Okay.
All right.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Hey, Daria, we still fighting. Love you, brother. Hang in there. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. So, you know, those kind of calls really break my heart, because I know that we actually know now that he didn't commit the crime. I'm not going to go into detail, but we do know that he didn't commit the crime, and we've been fighting now for I know it's been a couple of years since we found out, for him to come home. And so, listen, Daria, just keep praying. Van, keep praying. We're going to keep on working. We're not going to stop the fight. We're going to keep working until we get you on the screen. Yeah, somebody said hashtag coming home soon. Yeah, we're going to keep working until you come home. So I wanted to go to, did I get everybody on here? Oh, Desmond is the special guest on here tonight. Desmond, tell us who you are and tell us what you're doing now.
All right. What up, Baltimore? How y'all doing? Lady J, thank you for having me. My name is Desmond Hanif Perry. I'm also a returning citizen, just like my brothers who are on the screen today. Many of them I do know personally. Some of them I don't, but I've heard about them. Their names have ring through the system like many others who were doing good work. So I am one of Maryland's peer recovery specialists. I work in the peer recovery specialist field, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have a great opportunity that I don't think few men had while they were in prison. I was able to become a part of a peer recovery specialist program inside of DPSCS, where I helped to coordinate and facilitate, along with a amazing social worker by the name of Catherine Abrams. And we put this program together in DPSCS to help with the fentanyl and opioid overdose that was going on in JCI at the time, which was great because we were able to service 500 men a week through that one program. This was the only mutual support group that they had in there. This was the only program they had of inmates supporting other inmates through that type of situation. And it was amazing. Through that process, I was able to get trained. And when I came out, my journey right now has just been amazing, to say the least. That's first and foremost. And so I'm also the co-founder of a reentry organization, which is called Rectify. And we're focused on helping individuals transition back into communities equitably. Also, we're focused on a peer support type of reentry, which is focused on trauma. As we know, most individuals who enter inside of prison, we come from traumatic backgrounds, many of us. And also when we get in prison, we're then again traumatized by way of the conditions that we live under, which I'm going to talk about. That was my reason for going to Annapolis thus far, was to talk about the restorative justice bill that was also written, may I plug this out, was written by a young lady whose husband is incarcerated. And she's amazing. She wrote this bill for restorative justice. And also we have the Ombudsman bill, which has been promoted as well to have some oversight in DOC that we've been going down testifying for. So again, I'm one of Maryland's peer recovery specialists. I am the co-founder of Rectify. And right now I work as the criminal justice coordinator for an organization called Helping Others Through Empowerment or HOPE. And what I do for them is diversion, whereas though I go into the courts and help individuals in that process.
Desmond, I got it. Hold on 1 second. I have to give you a hand. I really do. Like, that is so awesome. Oh my goodness. Like all of the things that you're doing. How old were you when you went in and how old were you when you came out?
So just like the brothers who are on the screen today, I wasn't one of Maryland's juvenile lifers, but I was right there. I was 18 years old at the time. I did 20 years, and I came home at the age of 39.
Wow. How long have you been home?
I've been home since May of 2022. All praise belongs to Allah.
So you've done this since May of, oh my goodness, since May 2020.
I'm also a student, so I'm packing a lot. I'm also a student at Baltimore City Community College right now as well. My major is addiction counseling, and I'm focused on a social work degree as well.
That's absolutely amazing, because it's been people sitting out here for 20 years and have not gotten half of that stuff done. So that is amazing. Congratulations to you. This is another reason why I wanted to do the show, because a lot of times people's perceptions are, especially with Black men, that you come out and you go right back in. So I want to keep putting our brothers in front of the screen to let people know that they are out here doing some great, wonderful, and powerful things. Now, I hope let's see if Gordon's mic is working now so we can hear from him. Can you hear us, Gordon? I don't know what happened. He had it working before. I don't know what happened. So we're going to go back, Gordon, we're going to go back to you call me on the phone and turn your volume all the way down on your computer. And we'll talk that way. Now we have Sean's auntie on here. Let's talk to her. The one thing that's important is when male or females come home that they have the family support. That's really important. So tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and anything else you want to share.
Well, I'm Sean's aunt, and I've been dealing with Sean basically since he came home when he was 16.
Okay.
And this was before he got into the trouble and everything. And even after he came home, we tried to, get things together for him and everything. After he got into trouble and everything, I stayed by his side, stayed in contact with him, and everything. I try to support him as much as I can. He has me in contact with a lot of his lawyers and some of the people that he deal with, and when he was incarcerated and everything. And I just, was with him step by step in the process of him going through all his appeals and everything. So basically, I just been there since day one. Just put it that way. So.
That shout out to you. That's commendable. I work with some guys who and it seems like it's always with the men for some reason who don't get any visitors. They have no family support when they come out. And it's tough, so shout out to you for being there and being a support system for him, because he's going to need that, because this world is crazy. I told him that last week.
I told him that before he even came out.
So, a lot of things have changed, and people are crazy right now. So
absolutely,
let's see.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate that. I appreciate.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. And so we have Gordon on now. Let me see if I can. We're going to do this another way. So, Gordon, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. So go right ahead. So you're going to be talking through the phone, but just still sit in front of the camera, and we can still hear you and see you at the same time. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you were in Annapolis what you're in Annapolis fighting for.
Okay. First, let me apologize. I'm not tech savvy.
It's okay.
I was prison as a 15-year-old, came out as a 58-year-old. Don't know anything about this, but I'm trying to learn. The reason why I'm fighting down in Annapolis is because I can't forget where I came from. Just because I came out doesn't mean I don't have an obligation to those who are still in there. And I'm doing what I can to help them as well as help myself out here make the transition. Two of the major bills I'm dealing with now was the correctional ombudsman bill, and that's basically trying to find an independent agent to oversee the workings of the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services. This is important because the audit team we have in place now gets paid by the same people they answer to, so a lot of things be swept under the rug. The second thing I'm looking at now really has nothing to do with the Division of Correction, more so dealing with today's youth. It's called the Youth Equity Service Act. And basically what that is, in Maryland, any child over the age of 13 is authorized, the police is authorized to automatically adjudicate them as adults if they commit 31 violent offenses. And it seems very unfair because that's what I went through. And if locking people up isn't deterring crime, what's the use of harming and damaging these children's lives forever?
So I wanted to ask a question, and Gordon, don't go anywhere. Just stay there. This question is open to all of you. What has life been like for you coming out? Now, Gordon told me last week that he was 15 when he went in. He came out in his 50s, and I was just like, Sean was telling me like 30. I'm like, the time is blowing me away. So what has life been like for you coming out and seeing what's going on now? Anybody can jump in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead.
The transition to coming out of prison straight in the community is difficult, to say the least. And I said difficult for people who serve long-term incarceration because so many things have changed. So I'm grateful for having the opportunity to slowly transitioning to a transition facility. It's helpful in the sense that I didn't even know how to use a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Never used one a day on the inside. Now I'm coming out here, I'm learning how to use a cell phone. I never used a debit card. I never used a kiosk machine. So it's a lot of firsts that I have never been through, but having somebody to walk me through it makes that transition a lot easier.
Yes. And Gordon, don't feel bad. It's a lot of people that's been walking around. They still don't know how to use those things. So don't feel bad. You're okay. People are still learning because, you know, the world is just changing so much. And a lot of people, it's difficult to keep up. You know, everything is just changing so fast. So don't feel bad. You will get it. Now, anybody else, what was it like coming out to all of these changes?
If I may, the transition from being incarcerated into a confined area and being instantly exposed to a crowd of people is challenging. It's a lot of anxiety, you know, and I'm pretty sure everyone probably can attest to who's spent numerous times behind the wall, going into a shopping center or mall. It brings the anxiety to you because you're so used to being in a structured environment where people are moving in certain directions and they're aware and they're conscious of where they're going, to going into a mall where no one is paying attention and they're bumping into you and people are on their phones and it's just so many dynamics going on at one time. Even the aspect of using the email. This has been a challenging thing for me and probably most of us, learning about passcodes and passwords, the email for this and stuff like that. So, and also, what help with ease and transitional housing is that, you know, you have your loved ones and you don't know them only in the aspect of being incarcerated. You know, we only know them in spurts of 30 minutes on the phone or maybe an hour for a visit. But that actually in the mingling and growing up with them, you don't know them. So being exposed to this when you come home and around them, you start to really realize that you really got to get to know them. So this is one of the challenges.
Somebody's or whose mic that is. Somebody's mic is going off, but it's okay. We're gonna work through it. I hear you, Hamza, and I can imagine that has to be hard when it comes to trusting people and letting your guard down because you don't know, you really don't know anybody. So I can imagine that has to be hard. Or trying to go to. I remember one brother told me that it was hard for him to sit in a restaurant and eat. You know, just to sit there and everybody else is relaxed and talking, and he was just having a lot of anxiety about just sitting there eating at the restaurant or being able to order from a menu. A lot of things that we take for granted, you know. And so I hear you. Anybody else?
Yeah, if I can get in on this one real quick. So for me, if I can summarize it up, I would do it in 3 phases, right? So my first phase when I came out was initially just the shock of being free. You know, the socialization aspects, like you just talked about, the being comfortable in a dining area, like Hamza talked about, being comfortable in crowds, my family, becoming connected to them, and you know, them becoming aware of the man that I am now and not the 18-year-old that I was when I went to prison. Thinking about all of that, that's the first phase. Like Gordon talked about, the technology, that right there, if I can, just for everyone who's watching this and listening right now, and everybody who's ever went to prison knows what I'm talking about. This is the most inhumane thing that you can do to a person, is to box someone in, a human being, and don't allow them to live life. That's what they did to us. So us coming back out into society, we're coming back out with a whole different type of PTSD, a whole different type of traumatic stress and anxiety that we're dealing with because we were boxed in. I lived in North Branch Correctional Institution, which is Maryland's supermax facility, for 1 decade, for 10 years, living under conditions of being locked up for 22 hours a day and only coming out for 2 hours a day to exercise, to eat, and to go get on the phone. This is it. And that situation right there caused me personally, you see me now talking, but it hindered me in my ability to socialize because of the lack of that I had by way of being under those conditions, being told what to do, being indecisive and making a decision when I got out. If a person asks me, what do you want to eat today? We're going to a spot, man. What do you want to go at? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Because of the fact of the matter that I was never given the opportunity to make a choice for myself for 20 years, right? This is the American prison system. This is the reality of it. This is how inhumane it is, that they're stripping humanity away from people every day. And then they want to talk about recidivism, a person getting out of prison and can't adjust to society and then come back. You never treated that individual in a manner that would allow the individual to get ready to come back into the community, first and foremost. And this is what each and every one of us are dealing with right now as we transition back in. And this is the reason why I created my program and partnered with someone that understood this aspect of trauma, this post-incarceration trauma, that when an individual gets out, we need more than just a transitional house. We need more than just someone to say, hey, let me get you a job. We need more than just someone saying, hey, let me show you how to use a phone. We need more than that. Our situation is a little bit deeper because of how long we've been in and the conditions that we were under. This is a real thing. And every man who's on here today will attest to that. It's no doubt about it. If you went in young and you come out as an adult, you're going to be struggling with a lot of stuff. And some of it you might not be. So for some men, you know, they might not have certain things that they're going to struggle with. And for each and every one of us is going to be different, no doubt. For every man that's on this screen and everyone who's listening to this, who's ever been incarcerated, all of us are going to have a different thing that was the tough part of transitioning, right? But for me, that was the first phase. The second phase was now getting acclimated to being a responsible individual, you know, getting up for work once I got my job, you know, commuting back and forth, interacting with my coworkers and my supervisor, you know, things like that. Going to school and being around 19-year-old young people in a classroom. And I'm 40, just turned 40 this January. And looking at these young people and saying to myself, like, wow, you know, I wish I'd had this opportunity when I was their age.
Yeah.
You know, but coming back into that setting and adjusting to that and feeling comfortable there, you know, so that second phase for me is just that reacclimation, getting comfortable, and I'm still working on it every day, no doubt about it. It's a struggle. But I'm a strong proponent of mental health, an advocate for, you know, people having good mental health and therapy and things like this. So I take part of that to make sure that I keep myself up, no doubt about it. But you know, that's the conditions that we go under, Lady J.
Wow. I've had a chance to walk through some of the facilities, and my question is always, I often wonder, how do you stay sane in some of those conditions? And how do you come out still being able to speak like you all speak with a lot of clarity? I know you have, like you said, PTSD, you suffer with that, but it's amazing to me when you all come out that you're still in your right mind. Because I've seen some of the places that you're in, And so, listen, I still haven't figured that out. And that's one of the questions I want to throw out too. One of the guys told me that he used to escape by reading a book. He would read books. And he would always imagine as he was reading the book that he was in that place. And so that was something that kept him. And so that's another question I want to throw out as well. But we have a caller right now. So let me get this caller on real quick. Caller, go right ahead. Caller, you might be muted. You might have to unmute so we can hear you. Okay, you're calling in?
Me?
Sir, are you calling in with a question for the show? All right, so we don't have time for reindeer games. We don't do that over here, so we're gonna keep it moving. So I do want to go through the comments though, because we have a lot of comments and I don't want to miss anybody. So we have a comment from Van Green. Joyce Butler. I'm sorry. Let me go back to her comment. Excuse me. She said, "You all are so brave." Van Green says, "Hello, everyone. Thanks, gentlemen and queens, for sharing your story. I'm praying to see you all soon in Annapolis. I am a true fighter and a firm fighter and believe in the truth of fighting my hardest to get my husband, Mr. Green, out of prison on fraudulent charges." And Van, we're going to Annapolis tomorrow. Before I forget, we have Kenroy Walker who says, "God bless you all
Hello, Mark
greatly."
Alonso.
I'm sorry.
I said I'm
God,
on it. Can you hear my voice?
yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We have Kenroy Walker who says, "God bless you all greatly in Jesus' name. I thank God for your life and the courage to come to freedom and not forget about the brothers left behind. I pray God continues to strengthen you. God bless every single one of you with His Holy Spirit, very impactful and effective towards the goals and plans you'll intend to achieve." Oh, that was from Van. I got that. And Joyce Butler says, "Loud applause for Auntie." That's for Sean's auntie. Um, and then we have D. Rojas said, "You are human first before a returning citizens. They are not inmate numbers." That's true. William Thornton said, "You only get one chance to make a good impression." I think he was talking about when we were talking about the suits. Hey, Tanya, how are you doing? Shanice Anderson, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She says, "I am so connected and proud of this entire ensemble of returning citizens and advocates. Thank you." And then we have William Thornton says that you all are making up for lost time. And this is Life Entertainment says, "Fight the good fight." Tanya Flower says, "Great school." This is to Desmond. "Great school. Congratulations. BCCC has a great addictions counseling program." Michael Graham says, "Congratulations to my brothers. That was great." William says, "I'm so thankful for this show, Dr. J. Great topic. I was not aware of these things." And then we have D. Rojas who says, "Massachusetts has adopted an earned unit where long-term incarcerated individuals can live, similar to living on the outside behind the walls." D. Rojas, when you get a chance, inbox me because I want to talk to you about that. And Kenroy Walker says, "I will never understand or know the extent of pain and suffering you all have been through, but God is going to restore many of what you lost mentally, physically, and spiritually." And I say amen to that. He's absolutely correct. Hang around the right people and you'll be able to make it on this journey of being home. And don't get caught up in social media. Please don't. Social media can be good, but let me tell you something. It can take you down the wrong road. So be careful with social media. So I wanted to get back to the question I was asking about how were you able to survive all of those years and still come out in your right mind? This is for anybody.
So if I may, Lady J, first,
Yes.
it's a comment. One of the people came in and said something about making up for lost time.
Yes.
I would like to correct that because I think everyone in this panel can attest to this. There's no such thing as making up for lost time. We can only live in the present. The past is gone. There's no such thing as making up for 30, 35, or 40 years. We only live in the present. So some of the things that I talk about, Mr. Perry, know when we go to court and testify on behalf of incarcerated people trying to get them out, we talk about something called we talk about it's called coping survival skills, right? So this is uh, something that can only be imagined by people who are incarcerated at young ages. We're sent to adult institutions with people who are much bigger than us, who've been in and out of prison more than us, so they're prison savvy, and we're there as children. So a lot of us succumb to a lot of things that prison has in it, maybe drug abuse, maybe they're sexually assaulted, gangs, and all this stuff, trying to cope in an environment that was not conducive or made for us. So for most of us, we take an escape that is only temporary. That's with drugs and stuff like that. And this is why you see the drug abuse in prisons that are so high because people are trying to escape because they don't know how to cope to an abnormal environment. For some of us, the men who are on this panel, we saw our coping through our religion, our faith, maybe education and stuff like that. But it didn't come easy. You know, we had our stumbles and our falls in the beginning of our incarceration. So learning how to cope and survive in an abnormal environment will have a long effect on the individual unless and I'm a great champion of mental health. Like I hope everyone on this panel is. Mental health
Yes.
is very important. Therapy is very important. So this is how I and a lot of the men that I know on this panel, this is how we learn to cope and survive in prison.
You
Hamza,
go
you said
next.
that's super important um, about mental health
Yeah.
because that's something that's not really talked about a lot. We just hope that people will get better, and so I'm glad to hear you say that because it's important to make sure that you go get help as you come out, not just with how to dress, how to acclimate and get back into society, but also with your mental health. Because for a lot of you, you went in as children, and then you had to grow up and become a man in an environment that was not meant for boys to grow up in and be raised by other inmates. So there's a lot that went on that I'm sure that has to be unpacked now that you are out in society. And so I hope all of you are getting some type of mental health therapy while you're out. It's not a bad thing. Like I tell people all the time, it's not a bad thing. I go to therapy. I mean, we have to go in order for us to be whole and to be the person to become. Therapy is super important, and you need to also tap into who you are and what triggers you and what makes you do the things that you do. So by going to therapy, that will help you out a lot. So thank you for saying that. Gordon, were you getting ready to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say that for myself personally, it's only by the grace of Allah I made it through this, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is when we go to prison, we have to always have hope. For some reason, when we go to prison, we seem to be beaten down so much that we give up on ourselves and everything else. I
Mm-hmm.
happened to be in prison during a time when life became the mean life. A time when the governor came in and changed the whole standards around, say, even though you have a parole eligible life sentence, I'm not releasing any of you. And this lasted for 23 years where no lifer with a parole eligible sentence actually got parole. Makes no
Wow.
sense whatsoever. And
Mm.
even though the state legislature gave us sentences that made us eligible for release, eligible for parole. So during that time, people took 1 or 2 turns. Some people gave up completely and became totally destructive, and other people saw it productively and tried to keep hope so they could manage to get through this point. And that's where
Mm.
I was. As opposed to fighting and hurting people and using drugs and just being rebellious, I decided to devote myself to trying to learn and help other people cope with this impossible situation, and it paid off. Now, I believe in restorative justice. I believe that every individual, the ones that's on the inside and the outside, have a responsibility of making up for the wrongs that we've done. And part of making up for that wrong is correcting the things that led us to commit the crimes in the first place. The second thing is maintaining your faith and getting out and staying out of prison. Now, that's the thing a lot of us forget about. We work hard to get out of prison, but we don't plan beyond that. So a part of the organizations that I'm involved in is Prepare, which is a nonprofit that deals with preparing people for parole and reentry. Very important organization, very important objectives. The idea is not just getting people out, but helping them to stay out. So we try to plug them into the resources they need to be successful. So this is the key. It's not just about getting out of prison. It's about staying out. And that begins from the time you go in until you get out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you went in at such a young age, at 15. You know, that's why I'm just amazed when I hear you speak, because going in at 15, that has to be really traumatic to go into a facility at 15, and then, you know, you're around other people, as somebody just said, who've committed all kinds of crimes and stuff, and then this is the environment that you're in. And so that had to be really difficult, but I'm glad that the way that you were able to process this while you were inside is amazing. To be able to process it that way and to hold on to that type of faith and that type of belief until you came out. And what you said is really important. You got to work just as hard as you did to come out. You got to work equally as hard to not go back in. That's that's the important thing. Because like I said, this world is crazy and it can be really stressful. So make sure that you stay connected to people who are going to lift you up, people that you're able to talk to, even if you have to cry. But people who will hear you, hold on to your business. They will hear you and support you and help you to walk through this journey, because this is a whole different journey that you're on right now. So what about anybody else? Tay, what about you?
I just thank God, man. My grandmother, my father, my family, friends, they always, you know, prayed for me, prayed for God to protect me. He kept me in my sound mind. Once I finished drinking and running around and figured that wasn't going to work, I joined the Agape Fellowship with Donald. Donald was the bishop, and I just gave my life to God, and I just realized, you know, he was the only one that was really going to bring me through. And like the brother just said, hope. Like, somebody asked me a question at work, and I said, there's one thing you can never, ever take from a person who's been incarcerated, and that is hope. Because you hope one day that door going to open and you walking out that joint. It might not be the day that you hope it would happen, but when it happens, you never gave up on hope. You never gave up on your faith. And that helps you to fight, and that helps keep your mind in a positive direction and in a positive way. And like you said, when you sit around people who are positive, it helps you to keep your mind, because you sharpen each other and you help keep each other on that right path. But since I've been home, I was on home detention. You already know how that went.
Yeah.
I just been working and going to school, and I just been focused. Like you said, you got to work hard to stay out. Nobody's gonna pay you $20, $30 an hour without a career, without a trade. You're not gonna get it. So I just had to, you know, make the sacrifice to go to school and go to work. I gotta go to work tonight, but by the grace of God, He gave me the strength to do it. I pushed through it, and it's over with come Wednesday. Hopefully, I pass my test the first go round, and I'll be looking for a new job.
There you go. There you go. You are listen. You got to say I already passed it. Now I'm looking for the job. You know, we gonna speak positive and we're gonna speak life. You already passed it. It's already done. So
Yes.
and thank you for coming on because you have to work tonight. Thank you so much. We're not gonna be on much longer, but I just want to say thank you to all of you. And you know, Sean, you've been quiet. Hold on. Let me get Sean on here real quick. Cause Sean he been in the cut. He been real quiet. So we need to get Sean on here. And I need to know, Sean. I know you've only been out for a month.
Yes.
But for you coming home after all those years and just coming home? Were you born here in Baltimore?
No, I was born in DC.
Okay, so coming home, coming back to DC, how was it when you came back?
I was actually I was surprised because I had a lot of family and some that was born when I was in, but my name was brought up so much that when I did see them, it was like they knew me. So, my aunt Sheila kept me informed of sending pictures, making three-way phone calls for me. So I thank God for her because it was like, you ever heard of ride or die chick? She was mine. You know, so it was everything that, and I always told her that I always use scriptures that by me being a Christian, many are called, but few are chosen. And we all on this video were chosen to do what we was doing. So we had a passion for people. So we just did not get out and just do our own thing, but we had a passion for other people as far as women and men incarcerated. So I just thank God that everybody has a role and a position to play.
And how are you? How is it with you just being home and trying to get used to everything that's going on? Has it been easy for you? A little stressful?
Stressful. I'm not gonna say stressful. I go up and walk up and down the street just to get familiar with the area in Anne Arundel County. And just going in stores and seeing people interact with people. And it's like, what surprised me that I was in a store purchasing something and somebody put their phone up to
to pay for.
Yeah, to pay. And I'm like, what's she doing? But I didn't, and I asked her, she had her credit card on the phone. Right. So I said, oh, okay. I said, I gotta do that myself instead of walking around with one.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a blessing. It was good.
It's a lot. Technology has changed so much. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but for the most part, for me, I feel like it's made life easier. My parents are in their 80s, and for them, it's just crazy. When they see me, like you just said, going up and I just hold my phone, and it just takes the money off, and it's like a different world for them. So I definitely understand. But like I said, make sure that you all just continue to surround yourself with positive people and people like Marsha and her group. And I know about No Struggle, No Success, organizations what Desmond is doing, because all of these things will help you in your walk, out here. And just starting over, sometimes, let me tell you something, sometimes starting over can just be so wonderful, just to have that second chance to be able to start over and be a different person, be a new person. It makes all the difference in the world. And so you have an opportunity now to just change the course of your life, for the better. And so stay on that journey and stay on that path. We had a couple of questions. Let me get those before we close out. I have to, some of these questions I have to read before I put them up here, because let me see something. Hold on one second. So this is from William Thornton. He said, please don't get me wrong. You did what you did, and you did not come to a place of understanding the next day. It comes with learning about what you didn't know or understand. You will find that the journey comes back to your youth, which is lost time. And you have to make up Time is short. Please don't take me wrong, brother. I did for worse. I did drugs. As long as you were behind the wall, listen. Let me just say this. I know who William is, and I understand what he's saying, but I do agree with what Hamza said. You can't really make up for lost time. All you can do is move forward. And and I say that for myself. I got married at 22, stayed married for 27 years. I can't make up for all of that crazy time that I lost in that marriage. The only thing I can do is just move forward, try to be a better person. And so, but I understand what you're saying, William. But I think when you start reaching back, trying to make up for lost time, that's when you start messing up. The best thing to do is just move forward with the time that you have. Live your life, enjoy it to the fullest, and all of those things will begin to come back to you. But going back to try to make up for lost time, that's what therapy is for. The therapy will help you to connect from going to prison at 15 and being 50 or 60 right now. That's what therapy is for. And so let the therapist do that. But for the most part, what I would say to all of you is to move forward. I'm not a person that likes to look back or reach back. So move forward. But I get what you're saying, William. And Joyce said, yes, she's talking to Tay. She said, yes, I love you so much, nephew. Hope above all things. And Van says, I salute you all for being brave. This is what my fight is about, a dream that one day my struggle with fighting for my brothers and sisters' freedom, I prayed for one day my voices would reach the top of the mountain to the prisons to connect with fighters and have the supporters reach out to the state board to open the doors for those who are inside. I will never stop being and mentioning it and having boots on the ground for men and women for freedom. And Kimberly Walker says, I'll be praying for you all, brothers. Love you all. God bless. And I got you, William. When you said there was more to that comment, I got you. No worries. And William said, go hard. I said, go hard. That's how I made up for lost time. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what about Baltimore. Your opinion is your opinion. I feel you. Not a problem. We got exactly what you said. So Marsha, you've been a little quiet. Any last words you want to share with us before we close?
No last words.
Listen.
Pass my bedtime.
She said it's past her bedtime. I'm sorry, Marsha. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm one of those ones that I'm just up all night. Like I don't really sleep like that. I'm constantly up working. But listen, thank you for all that you do. Like I really do appreciate you. I really do.
Only for you, Lady J. Only for you.
I remember that. I'm gonna remember next time. I'm gonna remember. And Olinda Moy said, everyone deserves a second chance. It's a blessing to see folks making the best of it. Yes, that's what I say. Second chances they're just amazing. I don't know what else to say. Second chances are amazing. I'm walking in my second chance. That's why I'm saying it to everybody. It's amazing. Continue to move forward. We all have things that have happened to us in our past. And even all of what you all have gone through and being in the system, now you have an opportunity to be out, enjoy your life, live life to the fullest. We only get one. So live life to the fullest and make sure surround yourself with positive people. I cannot stress that enough. Positive people. If you have questions because you don't understand something, never feel like you can't ask. Okay. Just make sure that you don't go back to those doors, those walls again. We don't want you back there. But I just want to thank you all for coming on tonight. Desmond, I definitely want to do an interview with you one-on-one. I want to talk to you more about your program. I love what you're doing. And congratulations to you for all you've accomplished in, it's not even a year. So congratulations to you and your determination. Anybody going to Annapolis tomorrow? I'll be there tomorrow.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I have court hearings. Hopefully, JR be coming home tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Court tomorrow.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lady J, I'm not going to be there I'm trying to get ready. We're trying to get ready for some other things that, you know, are up and coming as well. But I just want to say thank you for having all of us on here tonight to be able to just again shed a little light. And when I put this out on social media, one of the things that I said was something that my co-founder and good friend, Mr. John Michael, used to always say to us and talk about resilience. I believe that each and every one of these men on here today, you know, including myself, we demonstrate every man who's ever been incarcerated and comes out and makes it through. For one, we're a miracle. No doubt about it. Each and every one of the men on this screen are religious men. The second thing is that we show or demonstrate the resilience of a human being. We're able to show how resilient the human being truly is, how a person truly can overcome the most toughest or difficult circumstances they've ever been placed in. And I believe that we demonstrated that, you know, no doubt about it. And that's something, you know what I'm saying, to look into and to tap into. And we should, you know, definitely, man, celebrate that more and promote that more. Even out here, you know, when I talk to people, and I don't want to take too much time, when I talk to people, man, you know, I always try to tell them, they say, I always see you with a smile on your face, you know, and I tell them because we all should be grateful, no matter what the circumstances are. You can get through it. You're going to get through it. It's just one moment, you know.
Right.
Also, Lady J, before we go off, I want to say this to the guys that's here. Remember, we have a responsibility to those that's coming behind us. Let's keep doing the right thing because other people, we don't want the doors to get closed in their face either. Do what we have to do.
Doing the right thing, not an option. You know, doing the wrong thing is not an option. Let me say this: the right thing is obligatory. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Sean,
I want to thank Linda Moy too. That's a great woman, Professor Moy. She's a great woman. Thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us.
Right. Sean, did you have anything that you wanted to say before we close out?
Yes, I just thank God for all of y'all, and y'all have a great and wonderful night. God bless you.
Okay.
Did I get everybody? Donald, anything you want to say before we go off?
Yeah, I just want to encourage everybody. Everybody's doing awesome out here right now. Encourage everybody to stay in the fight, no matter how long, how difficult it may be, because if we persevere, we will succeed, and we'll be making a big difference in the lives of those that are still stuck inside, and for those that are on their way out.
Absolutely. Who did I miss? Tay. I don't think I got any last words from you.
I love you, Aunt Peggy. I see you later. I want to thank you, Lady J, for letting me be on here. I want to thank you all for letting me spend the evening with y'all. I got to tell my aunt I love her. She fights so hard for people, for all of us. So
Yes,
she
does.
introduced me to Lady J. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all for letting me spend the evening with y'all.
Absolutely. And I adopted him right away. That's my nephew. I adopted him right away. So we're gonna make sure that he has what he needs. And so listen, when I don't want to talk about it on the screen, but when you all have time, I'm going to be sending all of you a text, including Marsha, Olinda. I'm going to be sending you all the texts because I wanted to do something for you, but I don't want to talk about it on the screen. So I will text you all, tell me what you think about it, but I think it would be good for you. Oh yeah, somebody said peace to all, fight the right fight. Fight the righteous fight. Life entertainment, absolutely. So I'll be in touch with all of you all. But for those of you who would like to go to Annapolis, before we close out, let me say this. We'll be in Annapolis tomorrow. If you are in Baltimore, there's a van that leaves from Mondawmin Mall at 11 a.m. Y'all, please be on time because we want to make sure that we get down there and we're not walking in late. So the bus is going to leave from Mondawmin Mall. It's right on the parking lot where Fridays is at. Right there in the middle of the parking lot. It's a blue van. We will be there leaving at 11 a.m. if you need a ride. If you would like to reserve your ride, I should say that, call the number that's on the screen, 443-297-4669. 4753 so you can reserve your seat because seating is limited. Trying to get as many people to go as possible. The other thing you need to know is when we go down there, even though we're getting there like around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, that doesn't mean that, you know, we will be heard at 1. I was down there last week and they didn't get to us until like about 6 o'clock. So bring your food with you, or you can purchase food down there. Make sure you don't have to go to work because we're down there for the long haul. So make sure you come prepared to be there for whatever time it is that we go back home. But these hearings are really, really, really important, and they are going to help those that are incarcerated, those that are coming out, our juveniles. You got to come out, and when your voices are heard and when you speak it and you put it out there, that's all we can do. But make sure you come out and support. So thank you all for coming out. Again, thank you to all of you that were on tonight. I really enjoyed the show. My name is Dr. LadyJ. I am going to be back next Monday night. We have another show coming on next Monday night. We're here every Monday from 8 o'clock until sometimes we're on here until 12. Just, you know, it just depends on the show, how the show is going. But we have other shows that are going on throughout the week. So make sure you start tuning in around 6 o'clock to start listening to the other shows. And with that, you know what, Auntie, I'm sorry. Did you want to say anything before we close out?
No, well, kind of, yes. All the gentlemen that's on the panel, I'd like to commend you and congratulate you on everything that you're doing. I think it's very good that you're doing this for the guys that are left behind and for yourself. I wish you good luck in the years to come. Marsha, I'd like to personally thank you for helping my nephew out. I think I talked to you on the phone, but I haven't personally met you.
Auntie.
But I just like to thank you, Dr. LadyJ. Thank you for this platform, and thank you for giving the guys a platform to speak, and for everybody to come in and talk about it, because a lot of people don't talk about things like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
And
right.
I'd like to thank you for having this platform.
You are welcome. This is what I do outside of the million other things that I do. So, you know, but, I love this. And so, you know, you're always going to see that. You're going to see something coming up soon. I just can't talk about it right now online.
All right, then. Okay.
But yeah, you will see it soon, and hopefully these guys will be a part of it. But we will talk about that offline. But Auntie, thank you so much for coming on. Anytime you want to come on, that number on the screen, you can dial that number. That comes directly to me. Okay. Anytime you need to talk or anything, I'm here. All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, have a great night. Have a good night. Hopefully, I will see those of you who are listening and watching in Annapolis tomorrow. I'll see you. Take care.
Good night.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.